guys, and welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and I'm here to guide you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the convention world with a little help from my friends. And today I get to talk to a wonderful friend that I work with at Anime Boston in the Masquerade Department / Cosplay Department. Miss Amanda, how are you, dear?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, sitting at home, alone, waiting for everything to blow over.
Same. It's a mood.
It's a huge mood. How about you? What are you up to?
Same old, same old. Working from home, exercising at home, socializing at home. I haven't left my apartment in days.
Nice. Excellent. Fabulous. How would you like to introduce yourself to the masses?
My name's Amanda. I work in the Masquerade Department at Anime Boston. I've been there since 2009, I think.
Wow.
Been a while.
Been a while.
One of my favorite gigs. Absolutely love Anime Boston.
Same.
And I work behind the scenes of the Masquerade. So I do a lot of checking in, wellness checks with the cosplayers, helping make sure people get to their judging appointments on time, and kind of wrangling judges for the big show.
It's true. Back before I was hosting the Masquerade, Amanda was the person. You watched the table, right? A couple of times? The judging table?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So Amanda was the water person.
Yes, I am the water girl.
She's our water boy.
If you ever watch the AB Masquerade, you've got this one person running back and forth behind the stage and back to the table and back behind the curtain and back to the table. That's me.
That's Amanda. Because I judged Anime Boston Masquerade for many years before I started working with you guys on actual staff. Yeah. So that's how we met. I think we officially met when I started working for the convention back in 2018? Yes.
Yeah.
18. God, it's been forever. It
feels
like so long, but it's like I didn't do like actual work. I only did it for like 2 years, technically.
Do any of us really work at this thing, though? It's still fun. We show up and we play.
Right.
It's not
work. Right. It's not work. It just,
organized play. Very organized play.
I feel like you guys do a hell of a lot more than I do, though. I just show up and look pretty for the most part. Moral support.
Oh, but you are gorgeous.
It's a hard life, but somebody has to do it. So let's see. You've got stories. I understand. I know you said that you're a little fuzzy on them, but I'm excited because you're going to tell these stories. I was like, where am I going to hit them? I got to hit the record button.
I mean, I've got some. We've had all sorts of things on stage. We've had like marriage proposals and accommodations that we have never had to address before. Like, I think we had to get a wheelchair up on stage once. That was fun. All sorts of behind the scenes sort of things. But one of my favorites, though, was a Marlboro. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy series.
Bits and pieces. I'm not committed to it, but I know enough of it where I don't feel like I'd be a total a-hole.
So a Marlboro is a recurring creature that you fight in the series.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when it hits, but it's this giant plant-like creature that blows smog at you, and it's generally a very challenging, oftentimes used as a boss battle kind of creature. The point behind it, though, is it's huge. It's this big plant creature. And one year for Anime Boston, we had a craftsmanship entry, and it was Marlboro. And we were like, oh, cool. How are they going to pull this off? Because, I mean, you got to picture this giant tangle of vines with a huge toothy mouth and eyes everywhere. Or big, weird, ugly looking creature. And you're thinking, how is a cosplayer going to pull this off? And so we okay it to come in and be judged and all of that good stuff. And their judging time is coming up, and we haven't heard from the cosplayer yet. And after a while, we get a page over the radio system. I think Andy may have been the masquerade coordinator at that time. And he gets the page of the radio system that there is somebody in the loading docks with their costume in the loading docks down at the bottom of the Heinz.
Okay.
And we're like, why there? It seems like a weird spot to be.
For why?
I don't know if you've ever been down to the loading docks at the bottom of the Heinz, but
once in my life, and it was an accident.
That's where the big trucks come in to unload,
Yeah.
and the elevators can fit huge carts in them. So we're like, okay, why is anybody down in the loading docks? And apparently, I have no idea how this occurred, but this cosplayer got permission to load their costume in through the loading docks, which threw up this huge red flag for us because we were like, why does your costume need to go through the loading docks?
Right.
So Andy goes down to assist. I'm doing my work with the other cosplayers. And then Andy comes back and he's like, so they can't come in to be judged. The judges have to come out to the hallway. And we're like, okay. So everybody goes out to the hallway, and there is a 9-foot Marlboro that they had just plopped right in front of the windows outside of Cosplay 101, Masquerade 101, which is where our headquarters. They couldn't get it through the door. They couldn't get it through any normal sized doors. This 9-foot tall, like 6-foot wide monstrosity. They made...
We're just saying something because the doors to get into that room are already pretty big.
Yeah, they are pretty big. And they had to just sort of rope it off and leave it there for the whole day. And we're like, how does this constitute a cosplay, though?
Yeah, there's nobody in it, right?
Like, how is this cosplay versus sculpture?
Right.
So the guy, like, I was not actually privy to the judging, but my understanding is he does get into the costume. And he can maneuver it kind of a la puppet or like a fursuit.
Okay.
He can't do much.
It didn't get judged on stage, though. I don't remember that.
No, I think it was one of those, they snapped the photo of it and plopped it up on the screen.
Okay.
And, but they left it there. It may have been there the whole weekend. I don't remember if it was just all day or the whole weekend, but he was like, yeah, no, that was too hard to get in, so I'm just going to leave it there until I absolutely have to take it home. And we're like, okay. We can't guarantee what happens to it, though.
Great. Not a fire hazard at all. Just leaving this in the middle of the hallway. It's fine.
No. But that was one of my favorites that we've done over the years, just because it was so abstract.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the reason why we have certain restrictions on cosplays. You gotta be able to get it through the doors.
What do you mean?
Definitely not through the loading docks. And to their credit, it was absolutely beautiful.
I'm sure.
Cosplay, and somewhere in the world I've got a picture of it, but it was just the coordination behind that could have been better communicated, I think.
Were you there? Let's see. If you started in 2009, were you there the year that there was the Aeon skit that had to drop out? Final Fantasy?
I'm not sure. The dropouts don't necessarily stick in my head as well.
The only reason I ask is because I was in that group, but the only reason I ask is because, like, Rob's costume, he was Bahamut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had all the Aeons.
That's cool, though.
It was, and it was a lot of work. I just remember because Rob had one of those massive costumes. Like, he was on stilts on top of it, so it made him almost 9 feet tall.
Oh, I bet. His costumes are always so spot on.
I know, they're stupid, right? It's just like, whatever, Rob.
Kind of hate him a little bit.
Kind of hate him. You're just like, cool, I sewed this together, and then he's just like, cool, I made this robot. You're like, whatever, Rob. And I'm friends with him, and I can say that, and he knows it. We're all just like, yeah, okay. But yeah, no, we had to drop out because his Bahamut costume, unfortunately, because it was so big, it was heavy, like, and we had to like get through like convention center stuff. It didn't work out. It was breaking. We just knew we were never going to get it on stage because it was so big. But I can't imagine like something bigger than that. Like, that's ridiculous.
Something that needs the loading dock to get into the convention center,
right? let's see. There was another one too. I remember it was before. I mean, I know I was judging. I must have stopped by, and it was like they'd set it up in the judging room, and the people could wear it. It was one of the bots. It was like a tiger bot. Zoid. It was a Zoid.
Not ringing any bells, but
it was a big white tiger Zoid.
I have a terrible memory, though.
That's okay. And again, I got to remember how many friggin' years ago this was too, because I mean, I know it was. I know I was going to AB, but I can't remember if I was even working at AB. But I remember that being like Judge for Masquerade too, and that thing was intense.
We've had some really crazy ones come through.
Oh yeah.
The fursuits always like blow my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they're constructed and how they get worn all day. Like,
oh yeah,
my God, I get hot in just like a polyester shirt and a wig. I'm
right?
Like, that's it. I'm done. I got to take this off.
Right? Like I'm dying in a Percy coat, and there's people walking around a full fur, like
How do you even in there?
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, like, and they're committed too. Like, I mean, they look gorgeous.
Yeah,
like the nice heads and everything with like and like have all their little details in their paws. They have like their little pod pad, like,
or when they're articulate.
Yeah,
we had one fursuit that had like this long articulate tail, and I was like, "What? How?" I was not privy to the judging, so I'm sure they explained how, but I don't know how that happened.
Right, one of the books. I love that too. I love that, like, in judging now, because the costumes are getting so intense, like, people are, like, really getting into it and stuff. I remember back in the day, you used to go, you get judged, and you're like, I printed this picture off of Google Images. This is the only image that exists of it, and you will judge my costume off of that. And, like, nowadays, people are coming in with, like, here's volume 1 of how I made it.
Binders. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the binders and the progress pics.
Yeah.
We had a cosplayer left their binder behind, and it was like this massive, like 5-inch 3-ring binder that they had just stuffed full of papers and like pattern sketches and progress pics, and like, this is what it looked like before I added buttons, and now here it is with the buttons, and here's a picture of me sewing the buttons.
Yeah, like some of the ones you used to get at Kineticons were like literal scrapbooks.
Yeah,
it was like, here, this is like a sample of every single material that is on this costume. It's like, what the hell?
And like, credit though, like, that is detailed. Detailed logging there, like, and I know the craftsmanship judges, they love it. They love seeing all of that stuff, and I think 100%. At this point now, I think they require it. Yeah. I mean, like, some conventions they do. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the other thing is too is like, I think a lot of it now too is just like, some people have just gotten into the habit of being like, well, those people didn't make their costumes. They feel like they have to prove themselves. Yeah. Like, a part of it is like, wow, that's a really nice book, and part of it, I feel like, is some people's paranoia, which is kind of sad. Yeah. And like, if you're competing though, you have to be able to show your work and show like your skill, and you can't, it's sometimes really hard to look at a finished product and say, oh yeah, I can definitely see the skill that went into this, versus seeing the progress that goes into it, and you're like, okay, so I thought it was going to work out this way, and I had it all planned out like so, but then I ran into this roadblock, and this is how I solved it, and here's the progress pics that shows my diversion from plan A to plan B.
Yeah, so, if I just think about the costumes that I've made that I've competed with in the past, and if I made a portfolio now, it's like, it would be a serious portfolio, but there would also be pictures of me like sobbing in a ball on the ground. And this is where I fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually competed before.
No?
I got thrown into the convention world back in like 2007, I think, for BakuratsuCon in Vermont. My friend Heather was running the cosplay competition there, and one of her judges dropped out, and we were roommates at the time, and she was like, come to Baku, I need someone to judge. And I'm like, I don't watch anime. I've seen like maybe 3 animes in my life, and you're the one who showed them to me. Like, how am I supposed to judge these costumes? And she's like, don't worry, you don't have to know anything. Just if you can look at a costume and say that it looks great or it doesn't look great, like, that's all I really need right now.
Right? You're gonna be that judge that's there that goes, wow, that's pretty. It's like, cool.
Right. And that's exactly what happens.
Like, the dude on Ink Master that's never been an ink person, but like, he's just like, I think it looks nice. You're like, thanks, dude.
And like, the the hotel's internet was like spotty, or like it was like before the time where we had internet on our fingertips all the time, every time.
Sure.
So like I couldn't just Google who I was looking at. So somebody showed up, and if I was lucky, they had a reference picture with them. And if I was unlucky, I would be like, yes, so you're very clearly wearing 3-quart cardboard boxes that are hastily painted, and this person over here that with a sewn costume looks better than yours. And that was the extent of my judging. I would compare 2 costumes and be like, that one's prettier.
I think I know what you are.
Like, yeah, recognizability. That was the other point. If I knew who it was, they got bonus points from me.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like that's how some people actually judge too, so don't feel bad.
And like, that's how I got into cons, was like, I desperately need a judge. Manda, you're in. And I'm like, okay, right. If you say so. And like the following year, my God, she asked me back. And like by this point, I've been involved in Baku for a whole year, and then I got involved in like the back end planning of it, and then the rest was history. I've been with Baku ever since. And then I work with Andy at Baku, and Andy took over the Masquerade, and he was like, I need people to staff this because I need people to staff this. And I'm like, okay, sure. I'm like, that's how I ended up at Anime Boston. Was basically the same way I ended up at Baku, was I need someone to staff this. Tag, you're it.
Well, I mean, I think I've told you, like, I mean, I know I've said it on here before. You know the story of how I ended up at the convention in New Hampshire that I worked for.
I think so.
I just had a badge thrown at me, yeah.
Yeah. You show up. Here, you work here now.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, okay. And that was like the first year of it. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people got stuck, like, I mean, you just got stuck in that way where it was just like, we need people and you seem responsible. Here you go. It's like, okay. Kineticon, when I started working for them, it was, I had made friends with Ryan, my friend Ryan. He was in charge of their cosplay masquerade stuff. We had become friends, and he just wanted me like on his staff since the year before when we had first met at the convention stuff. So that's how I ended up at Kineticon, working with him. But do you know how I got on official staff for Boston?
No, how?
The best story ever. Okay, so again, I had judged at Anime Boston for years. Mm-hmm. Lindsay and I have been friends forever. Andy and I, excuse me, Ada, not Andy. I do love Andy. I love you, Andy. Ada had been friends for a while because I had done events at Boston, like for chess game and stuff. And over the years, like, I mean, I'd gone away for a little while to judge, come back to judge pretty permanently. And then the year before I started at AB, I was rooming with Lindsay because she had just had Sammy. So I wasn't on staff, but I could room with her because we weren't in a staff room. Mm. And we had just gotten back from Masquerade, and it was late. Like we had like one of those. It was one of those late night went forever masquerades, and we had just gotten back.
Show that just would not end.
Yeah, show that would not end. Yeah, and I'm laying face down in the bed, and that's when she had told me that Mario wasn't going to be coming back next year. So I'm laying there, face down in the bed, listening to her just be like, yeah, we're probably have to look for a co-host. And in my muffledness, I'm just like, why do you have to look for a co-host? I'll do it. And she's like, you want it? And I'm like, yeah, I want it.
Perfection.
And that's how I ended up on staff. Like, yeah, I want to host an Anime Boston. What's wrong with you?
I mean, it's such a big show. I mean, it is. My only shows really are Bakuretsu and Anime Boston. You compare the two, it's like trying to compare a cherry to a freaking ugly fruit. It's like crazy. The difference.
It's like you could have the scoop of ice cream or the kitchen sink at Walt Disney World. Which one do you want?
Exactly.
You know what? Sometimes it's good to just have a scoop. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and I love the smaller conventions, though, because they're like Anime Boston is this huge, wonderful, crazy show with thousands of people, and the energy is always so high and infectious, and it's crazy fun. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, you've got the smaller conventions where, like, for Baku, like, a good convention year for us is like 500 people, and we're like, yes!
Exactly. You just know everybody. You can move in the hallways. It's
You
just nice
know
to see
everyone,
people.
and
Yeah.
like it's a lot more intimate, and like the guests will really interact with you because they don't have to, fight for the attention of thousands and thousands of fans. They can
Right.
actually walk down the hallway and interact with the attendees, and it's just a lot more low key, like kind of a more chill setting. It's
Yeah,
still a
same.
convention. You're still doing all the convention things, but on just a much, 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 much smaller scale. And when it's smaller like that, it's easier to be relaxed.
Hmm. I agree. I agree 100%. Like I said, I love Anime Boston. It's always going to be like the convention for me. Like that's the big one. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
but there's just something about going to those little like hometown cons where you're just like, this is nice. This
You,
feels nice.
you just hang out in the hotel lobby with your feet up and
Hmm.
drink the
Hmm.
free hot cocoa that they have there because we're at a Hampton.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny because now, like, not not from not wanting to go. It's just Anime Boston ends up being probably the only convention that I go to a year now,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things where it's like adult, stupid, work,
I
life.
used to table for Baku, where
Mhm.
we would go to other conventions and we would sit at a table in dealer's room and promote our convention. Be like, hey, so you're at an anime con. This leads me to believe that you like anime cons. Would you like to come to our anime con? And
Ta-da!
and tabling is really fun too because you get to go to other cons. Usually it's free somehow,
Mhm.
some way, because
Right.
convention relationships, and
Sure.
you get to show up, you sit at a table, you spin your spiel, and you get people to sign up. You get pre-registration that way, and then
Hmm.
when
Yeah,
it's
I
time
used to
to,
table for New Hampshire convention.
yeah,
Yep, it's
it's
like in
good
Boston
time.
too, because like before I was working for the convention, it was like basically I was there to judge. I'd be there for the whole weekend because why not just go for the whole weekend? Obviously, it's Anime Boston. But I would just end up finding myself sitting behind the table most of the weekend and helping out with like handing out badge applications and
Yeah,
buttons. So many buttons.
and when you're at a con, having a dedicated place you can go to just sit down,
Mhm.
that's always nice.
It's clutch. It's
Real
definitely a
nice.
good thing.
Yeah.
I
I
know now my
used
designated place to go sit is with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like our job at Anime Boston is pretty sweet deal because we've got the room that's our headquarters
Hmm.
that's got tables and chairs
Yep.
and air conditioning
Yep. And coloring.
and coloring. Yes, got to keep the kids entertained.
Me.
And yes, that's what I meant by kids.
Me.
And
Oh.
like, but lots of people come and hang out with us just to sit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we kind of like, it's not just like sitting in there and being like, hey, you're next, you go in. I mean, we talk people down that are nervous.
Oh
Like,
yeah. All these
so
first
many.
time novices, this is their first time having their costumes judged. That's scary.
I know, little babies.
It's so scary.
I'm just excited because we haven't done this for 2 years. It's like we're gonna come back and there's gonna be so many costume babies.
So many. And also, we're
Ugh,
going to come back and we're going to be like, I forget how the system works.
I doubt that very
I
much.
don't know how to do the job anymore.
What's this pencil? What do?
I'm really
What's the
worried
bed?
about our system. Like, I'm going to have my password reset again.
The forums.
Oh, poor webmaster.
All right,
Sorry, Joe.
webmaster. Okay, mine. I'll be honest. Mine's been 1, 2, 3, 4 for like 2 years now.
And everybody now knows how to get into Katie's anime Boston
If you know what my name is on there,
forums.
it's all right. You can have it. Like I've gone on there. I mean, I go on there to check things, but it's just like, oh man, I haven't. No, I don't think I ever fixed my password. Whoops, sorry, Joe.
Yeah. It's going to be a weird year, though, for sure.
You think so?
I think so. It's gonna have that weird vibe of, oh my god, we haven't seen each other in 2 years, and I cannot wait to be back and doing all the things we do. But it's still gonna have that overhanging. But we're still in a pandemic, and we still have to wear our masks, and we still should be social distancing. It's gonna be weird, I think.
I feel like by the end of May, it should be a little bit calmer. Like, I don't feel like it's going to be like a doom gloom situation because, like I said, because of the restrictions that the convention has put in and stuff too, like about proving vaccination and also being vaccinated and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a little bit more at ease in that sense for me, where it's like, okay, like it's going to be a lot of people, but I still feel like it's a little bit safer than most things.
That's true. That's true. Mandating the vaccine is going to lift a heavy weight there, I think.
Right, right. And like I said, now we have masks that match our costumes.
I actually just ordered one today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be doing Retzko.
Nice.
So I got a mask to match her.
Nice.
Excited.
Nice.
And I'm also doing Tifa. So I got an iron-on patch to put on top of my mask that I'm going to wear over my real mask.
That's awesome. And
That's
I haven't really finalized my plans yet. I don't know.
Oh, those are the only two I've got, so.
Right. It's like I'm working on something. Whether or not it will be done in time for Anime Boston is going to be a whole nother, beast. Like, not that I haven't had 2 years to sew, but like.
I know. Oh my gosh. So I've been working on Tifa I was working on Tifa for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And she was almost done when the con got canceled.
Right.
And I was heartbroken, and she still hasn't seen the con floor. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just like pull out my cell phone and take pictures of her.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have the actual con is coming up, and I'm like, I put her on again earlier last year, just for fun.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you did not store well. All these things need to be repaired.
Oh, no.
And I was like, well. And the other thing that happened with Tifa was when I started working on her, the game hadn't come out yet. I was doing remake Tifa, so the game hadn't come out yet. So I was going off of promotional videos and like the trailer. And that's all I had for reference images.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I think I did all right. And then the con got canceled and we were all sad, but I got the game. And so now I'm playing the game, and you spend an ungodly amount of time looking at your characters' butts. And I'm like, oh God, the back of Tifa's skirt is nothing like I thought it was going to be. I have to remake the whole skirt.
Damn it!
I was like, why couldn't I have just done this before the game came out? That would have been understandable, but now I have to go back and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on another Percy costume because, of course, I needed another Percy costume.
Well, obviously.
But now the animated show came out.
Oh, and you've got I have actual reference material.
It's like, God damn it, that looks nothing like it's ever looked. Like, why? It looks first of all, it's simple as hell, and I'm pissed. I'm like, my baby deserves better. We all know my child deserves better than this. Like, I demand in a second season, if you need more money, I will give you more backing money to give him better clothing. But I mean, I guess my first costume kind of looks like his costume in the show or whatever. But it's also I guess it could just be super simple. But I mean, the one that I'm working on, it looks nothing like it. So whatever. So I understand your pain, where it's like I've had this picture of this character in my head for so long, and now I've seen him animated, and it's just
or just the front of the picture, and you're like, what does the back look like? I'm going to extrapolate and assume it's going to look like this on the other side. Nope. No, it does not.
No.
And that's the only game I've ever platinumed on the PlayStation 4, and so I have many hours staring at Tifa's butt, and every single time I do, I'm like, God damn it, I still have to fix the skirt. I gotta go back and do it. I can't not.
And then the other thing is too did I have another I made a Tony Stark costume of him as a Sith Lord.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
The only problem is I can't wear it because if we're wearing masks, I will have a mask over my face. You will not be able to tell that I am Tony Stark. I will just look like a Sith Lord. Which I mean, it's still a good costume, but it's not the same.
I guess you could look for a mask that has a goatee printed on it.
No, I hate people do that.
You're
can't.
You're gonna hate my Retzko mask then.
There was some person walking around with one that was a real face or something.
Oh yeah,
the real bottom part of their face, and I was like, ugh.
So I just bought the mask for Retzko off of Etsy, and Etsy was like, so I see you're buying face masks off of Etsy. Look at these other face mask options. And or a couple of them were those like hyper realistic faces, like the bottom's half of a man's face.
Oh.
But then they took the point, like made the effort to illustrate of like a folded down mask under the fake chin so that it looked like a real face with a mask under the chin on a mask. And I was like, why?
Why?
Why is that a thing?
Because people have way too much time on their hands. They gotta go back to conventions.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like, so now it's like I'm thinking of costumes that I can wear that are one, pretty, like not easy to make, but like I can easily get, like make a mask for that it would like go with it. Does that make sense?
Coordinating a mask to your costume.
Yes.
This is a factor we've never had to consider before.
Right. Am I considering Bucky Barnes? Yes, I am.
Of course you are.
Because of course I am. So, because, you know, that comes with a built-in mask. We're done. Like, yay!
That, and, like, he's also pretty recognizable, too, if you've got the arm thing going on.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, there it is. The mask and the arm, we're done. It's over. Like, yeah, that's who it is.
You know who that is.
Right.
Like, if you're just doing Tony Stark and not the Iron Man part of Tony Stark, and you have to cover up the recognizable goatee.
Yeah, like, that's it. It's over.
That's a little hard to convey.
Although I did find masks that say Stark Industries on them, so it's like, you know, I could still save it.
You could make it work.
I can make it work.
You could.
Yeah, so it's like it's really a good deciding factor of what I'm going to wear. And then Saturday, as we both know, I've got no time to wear anything because I live in Masquerade all day.
Yep. Wear comfy. That's the Saturday rule. Is wear something you can move in.
Although I would like for someone, if it happens again this year, if the Patriots show up with their little anime club, warn me.
Oh, that was so cute. I don't football. I don't follow football. I don't care two quits about football. And if somebody had shown those individuals to me, I may have said, you are large dudes, but I would never have actually put them together as being football players.
Amanda, I saw them sitting up there for so long. And what was I doing? I'm sprawled out on the stage, laying there like, all right, next. I was like, oh my God, embarrassed.
Oh, they were watching the rehearsals?
Yeah, they came in and they were like showing them all the behind the scenes stuff, and they came up and they watched rehearsals for a while. But again, I'm on the stage, they're up in like the nosebleed section. Like, how am I supposed to know that there's, you know, like who they are sitting there? And then like about a half an hour after we were done rehearsal, and I went upstairs to go change, and it like went all over like Discord and our Facebook feeds and stuff, going, the Patriots were here, and I was like, no.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I was locked up in 101 for that, so I never saw them at all. Although they put out a little article about them being at Anime Boston and like USA Today or something like that. I forwarded the link to my brother, and I was like, look, football fans like anime too.
Like, we've all come together. It's full circle.
Remember when the jocks used to tease the nerds in high school? Turns out the jocks are the nerds. It's great.
Yeah, right. It's happened.
The melding of worlds.
Bringing everybody together.
This is how it should be. This is how we get world peace.
It is. Like, just nobody understands that. Oh, man. What are you looking forward to this year?
At the con?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just seeing everybody. Like, I feel like the only person I've seen from Anime Boston in person recently was Lindsay, and that was because we were all at Digit's wake.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't exactly enjoyable.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh, I miss Digit.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, it's going to be bittersweet. This year, like, it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's like, we're all back together. We're all going to be there for each other. Like, obviously, we're not going to let his memory die at all. Like,
no.
Like, at all. I mean, we all know, too, that, like, being there, if we were all, like, sad little poofs of whatever, he'd be pissed.
Oh, absolutely.
He would be pissed at us. He'd be like, why? Like, we're
not
going to be sad all weekend.
Like, short-circuited all the equipment just to zap us into...
He would. He would absolutely shut everything down on us and be like, okay, we get it. Like, enough. So it's a personal goal this year to have a really good fucking time. while still being like, all right, we're gonna make him proud, you know?
Yes, definitely.
Like
But
this weekend's for all of us.
I just want to see everybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my immediate con family live in Vermont, so I've seen most of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like you, I haven't seen since last AB, and Corey and Brian and basically my whole family and all the other departments that we work with. And it's like, I just want to see my con family again.
Mm-hmm.
And I have missed cons for 2 years. We all have.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if it hits harder when you're staff versus when you're an attendee. Because we've got years and years and years of relationships now that we've
Oh yeah.
formulated. And I'm not saying that attendees don't formulate relationships that they only see at cons too. Like, that's perfectly normal.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, most of my friends group, like on that side of the convention thing, it's like I still saw them and I talked to them, like be it Zoom chat or whatever, like in person a couple times for like outside events and stuff. But I mean, like like convention families, like most of those relationships start like in forums online to be like, hey, let's meet up and meet at these group things, and then you meet for the first time at the photo shoot, or you meet for the first time at like the game show that you're both in together, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
So I just want to see everybody again.
yeah.
I miss everybody.
I don't know.
And the other thing that I'm looking forward to is spending an exorbitant amount of money in Artist Alley.
Facts. I want to buy. I miss. Oh my god, what was it yesterday? Like how they have the huge table in AB's room that's like all of like the snacks, like all of like the candy. And
Oh
the
yeah,
coffee. Yeah. Okay. Yesterday, I was in Boston and I went to Chinatown and I found green tea Kit Kats. I know. I did.
And you bought all of them.
I bought 2 bags because they're super expensive because they're imported.
All right, fine.
And it was just like a piece of me came alive again. I was
Oh my gosh.
God.
I haven't had one of those since last AP.
Oh my god. They're so good. And it's like one of those things where I'm just like, oh my god, like I just want to go back and even just like see the snack table again. Like I just want to see people. I don't want to be out of my house. I want to be in a costume with other costume people.
I want some of our traditions back too. Like we had some like weird traditions that we have held. We always hit the liquor store on the way down.
Yep.
I do not endorse drinking, but we always hit the liquor store.
I will endorse drinking
on the way down. And like stock up for our rooms for the weekend. And then we'll take like an Uber or a Lyft or whatever. And then we always hit on the way home, we hit up H Mart because we don't have a market like that in Vermont. And we like basically do a bulk grocery shopping run. Like we pack cooler bags to bring to AB so that we can be ready for H Mart when we're heading home.
I know, it's like I want Thursday nights we get there, we always have our staff meeting, and then I go down and I find my friends group and we have fancy cocktails like to kick off the weekend.
Yes.
Like I want my fancy cocktail night.
I want Itadaki. It's my favorite place in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
We found it not for AB. A friend of mine used to live in Boston and we would go down and visit. And so she found Itadaki and she started taking us there. But this lovely little Japanese restaurant on Newbury Street. And I love it. They have my favorite sushi roll that I've ever had anywhere. And it's so good. And it's like, we try to figure out how to make time for it. But how do you make time for like the one restaurant when your meals are covered as staff? Not that place. And all the other traditions that you're trying to make sure you have room for. Like,
yep.
At the end of the masquerade, our rooms, the people who room together,
yep,
typically will go out for dinner, which is really hard to do with a large group of people at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yep. Because what's open?
We used to do Cheesecake Factory, but they discontinued their blueberry mojito and therefore are dead to me.
But we don't endorse drinking.
No, not at all. Responsible adults.
I miss Wagamama.
Oh, wait, they're gone?
No, I just missed them.
Oh, okay. You scared me.
Wait!
Well, I haven't been keeping up with Boston, so like I actually have no idea what survived the pandemic.
No, the one at the Prudential is still there, and I went to the one at Faneuil Hall the other day.
Oh, good.
So that was my first time in like 2.5 years of Wagamama. But still, it's like, we'd sit and be like, hey, they're doing food delivery. Where do you want your food from? And the cute little people would go and get our Wagamama for us.
Oh, they have the best curry.
Katsu.
Oh my god. Now I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet.
Right?
It's your fault.
I'm so sorry.
It's your fault I haven't eaten yet.
I'm enjoying those. Like, I miss all these things about the convention. I miss food.
I miss food. I know
all of our traditions are food.
I know that Max Brenner did not survive, which broke my heart because they were like the one place we found to replace Cheesecake Factory for our late night dinner that they took reservations and they were open stupid late.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's all I need out of a restaurant right now. I don't even care what you're serving. I just need you to be open late and I need you to take reservations because I have like 11 people I need to see.
But I feel like we're going to thrive this year because DoorDash and like Uber Eats and like Grubhub have become huge.
Yeah, they have.
So really the world's our oyster.
I hadn't considered that because, back in ye old days, 2 years ago, we used volunteers to get our food. And but I guess how does DoorDash work getting food into a convention though? Like you'd have to send
like the DoorDash driver, you can be like, here, because we have the fancy badges where we can just walk out the door and walk back in again.
Yeah, as
very
staff,
convenient. We'd just be like, here, meet us on this side, like this sidewalk on this street in front of the Prudential. They're like, okay, and then they show up and you're like, I'm right here, give it.
Give me food.
Or you have somebody meet at the hotel lobby or something. I think it'd be easier to send it to the hotel lobby at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll figure it out. We have the whole weekend to figure it out.
That's true.
See, if we make like good with one of the DoorDash drivers, we'll be able to do this. Be like, look, I'm gonna give you a $20 tip if you can walk it right to like here. Like, okay, yes.
I'll meet you at security.
Yeah, I'll meet you at security. That's mine. Let him through. Thank you. Amanda, I miss you.
I miss you. I remember having to send runners down to security to get our cosplayers in.
Yeah, right.
They have a judging time at 9:30. It's 9:25, and they can't get through security.
I'm on it. You look right. Come here. Oh man, this has been fun. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to promote?
Anime Boston. Come check us out.
Okay.
Yay,
it's happening.
They cancel it on me one more time.
No, they're not doing that. We're not going to do that. That's toxic, and I won't live that life for having it.
Give me my cons.
It's going to be you, me, in a room, alone at a Heinz Convention Center, but it's the convention.
In cosplay.
In cosplay. With Wagamama.
Yes. That's it. We've hit all our notes.
That's it. Done. I'll figure out how to make you a blueberry mojito.
Much appreciated. One of my friends actually up here did find the official cheesecake recipe and cheesecake factory recipe for it, and they were like, I am doing this for you.
God bless the internet.
Yes, it's wonderful. So I have had my blueberry mojito fix, but it is no longer affiliated with the convention.
I'm not affiliated.
We don't.
I'm going to promote my book because I can. That could have gone worse. Life Lessons from a Dinosaur Cosplayer. That is out on Amazon right now. And actually, if you come to Anime Boston that weekend, I'm going to hide a couple in the convention center.
You're allowed to do that?
I'm gonna. So you guys can find a copy at the convention center. And also, I'm still waiting to hear back on whether or not I'm getting a panel that I signed up for. So if I do, there'll be more information on that soon. And I'm excited about it if the panel gets accepted. And let's see. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. That's everything going on in my life. Amanda, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it. And guys, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.